Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Monday afternoon / evening Zoom edition. We had some fireworks this morning with Bitcoin pumped up crazy on rumors of a Bitcoin ETF being approved by the SEC, and then crashed and burned when that was shown to be false. So let's look at the chart. Okay, should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. Well, if you don't, let me know. So here we are, and we had this big candle here, and we have the East Coast telling us that half an hour ago Bitcoin essentially closed for the day up over 4%. In the short term, it looked like this 15-minute chart, a big jump here, just before the New York close, which is about 6:30 for me, 9:30 Eastern time. A big pump up here. Well, I've seen some other charts over 30K, but it hit around 30 here on the Binance chart and then dropped right back down when other rumors surfaced. But it has trended up nicely today, 4% move up. And on Ethereum, didn't do as well. See, up only 1.44% today, though it had a similar arc. Yeah, pump up here and then gave it all back. A little bit of a pump later in the afternoon, but again, didn't really hold it, but generally up overall. So not bad, mostly a green day here on our altcoins. So, good stuff. And Sunday was a green day as well. Back to the green. Yeah, small green candle on the daily for Ethereum, a little bit bigger one for Bitcoin. I don't talk about this much, but I've got the Bitcoin dominance here, and it's well over 50%, has been for a while. Go on the day chart. Yeah, we broke 50. It's been in the high 40s, pretty much since early June. Shot up here later in the month, dipped and shooting up again. So Bitcoin is what most people seem to want to buy. I think Bitcoin's a fine thing to hold, but trading it on on 10x leverage like I like to do doesn't appeal to me that much unless I have a really big balance. So anyway, Bitcoin dominance has, if it closes, well, it actually closed today already, but it could break the late June resistance of 52. So we'll keep an eye on that, and that will have some bearing on how altcoins do. Okay. Any questions on Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the markets overall? Very well. Let's go to Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some day trades. Okay, I'm an Altcoin Alert. The Altcoin Radar page gives me all the columns. You usually start here at the dashboard, but I want more information than this, so I always go to the radar. And I'm going to sort by the AA score, which is my first thing I like to look at. We've got a really big number here. IOTA, 94.9. So Altcoin Alert is telling us there's a 94.9% chance that IOTA goes up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So that's pretty good. I was looking at this earlier. I traded this last week and had some success with it. Start with the 5-minute chart. And sitting right in the middle of our Bollinger Bands here on the SMA line. And less than 1% between the Bollinger Bands, so it's looking kind of squeezy. Not seeing an entry at the moment. You could set an alert down here around the green zone, which is support, using the supply and demand visible range, Lux Algo. I didn't talk about this much last week. I just want to give you guys a reminder on how you find this. This is your TradingView indicators. Type in supply and demand, visible, and it should come up. You don't spell it wrong. It's a Lux Algo free indicator, so I've been using this for support and resistance last few weeks. I like having that visual in front of me. And I've tried a few other things, but they tend to be jagged, and this one's gives me this range, which I like. Okay, so at the moment on support, looks like around 1450. So if you want to wait for it to dip back down, get a better entry, you can right click on the chart, add an alert, go 1460. And we'll call this AA score purchase. Notifications. I like to have it notify in my app, show the pop-up on my desktop computer, and play a sound also on my desktop computer. And choose whatever noise you want. So think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 options. I frequently use 3 notes reverb. So that's how you do that. But as you know, I prefer indicator alerts on my 15-minute chart. Now, my lead indicator for the past couple of weeks has been the RTI, which seems to be a little bit better than the RSI. And then I'm using this cumulative delta for confirmation, courtesy of our longtime friend Frank. He likes to trade off this. I'm trading with it a little differently than he does, but so far so good. There's 2 ways I do this for trend trading. I like for it to, on the long side, I like for it to dip and then come back up and break above the 50. That's this middle dotted line here. And that's a real easy alert to set. Well, actually, let's look at some of the times it's crossed. We'll look at this as a spot trade. So we crossed here, got a nice move up. You see how it crossed the 50 and picked up a little bit less than 1%. I'd probably still be in that trade. I'm usually looking for a 1% move at 10x leverage. If you're trading spot, you may want to look for a 2 or 3% move, and just know your trades are going to be a little bit longer than mine. So in this scenario, on our 3% move, we don't really get it till, get this big move here. And you have to do some back testing to see what kind of moves a coin makes. Now, this made a big move, but it's less than 4%. So, and IOTA's it's an OG coin, it's been around for a long time. You may want to trade something different than this, but with the AA score as high as it was, I thought it was worth a look. And let's look at, there were a couple others, crosses at the 50 over here on the upside. My mouse has been a little twitchy lately. We got one here that's a fake out, but does come back. And then another one here, which would have been a pretty good entry because you would have caught that move up there. So that's what I like to do on the trend side. Going back to this first cross over here, I'm going to look at my, at my cumulative delta. I'm getting just sideways action. Maybe I don't take that trade, but when it makes the big move over here, Delta's really not buying it then either. So I don't know, maybe it keeps you out. This is fairly new to me. I've only been using this as confirmation for about a week or two. Not sure if that cross here would have taken us in. Yeah, it looks like it just bumps up to the 50 and doesn't let us in because that would have been a good entry. Right about here. Well, the Delta's not really feeling any of this until about this area here with this partial move. So if you use the Delta for confirmation, maybe it keeps you out of that. If you don't, you get in and catch this big move. The secondary move, though, was a news item with the Bitcoin. So, okay, so the other way I like to get in is retracements. And in this scenario, I'm looking for a dip above or below the 20, then a cross back up. So let me show you that one. So here we get the dip, cross back up, and we got not great confirmation, but at least some green candles going our way. So I probably would have gotten in on that one right about here. As you can see, it makes a nice move up. And yeah, 1 point. So I would have gotten out probably in this vicinity, 1% at 10x leverage. If you're on spot going for 2 or 3%, maybe you stay in longer and you get out around here or here. Or you scalp it. And I mean, there's resistance here according to the red band. Maybe you just use that as your exit. Pick up almost 1%. On spot, I'm usually looking for a bigger move than 1%. But there's nothing, you can do pretty well for yourself stacking up 1% profits even on spot trades. So, okay. And then if you're going both directions, longs and shorts, then we have a cross of the 50 here. Let's keep it 80-20 since that's what we were talking about. So we have a cross here of the 80. Catch this move down. That's good stuff there. You got the confirmation here on the delta. Probably get in right about here. And yeah, nice 1% move down. And another dip here. This one takes a little bit longer. 0.5% back up, and probably don't get out till around here. But yeah, the 80-20 looks pretty good. A little better entry here. And then here's a bad entry. So it dips below the 80 here. Hard confirmation here. I mean, real or strong confirmation, be a better way to say it. But it's a fake out. It bounces all the way back up here to 3.5% against me. I probably take 1 or 2 additional purchases, and then it crashes all the way down here, and I get out. First trade breaks even. The second ones do pretty well. So even though it goes against me pretty hard, using the ladder buying technique, it ends up being a winning trade. So people who prefer stop losses dislike the ladder buy technique because it does have a danger in that it can keep going against you and take out a big chunk of your account. So you have to be careful of that, figure out what your risk tolerance is as a trader, and function accordingly. And let's go over how you set alerts on the RTI. Right click here, add an alert. And the first one's that crossover on 50. So that's what I use for my trend trading. AA score purchase, notifications. I went over that already. So that's how you do that. And then for the 80-20, the dips below 20 that come back up and the pumps above 80 that come back down, often are good entries. We're going to do that a little differently. We're going to use an entering channel. And our upper bound is going to be 80. And lower is 20. Once per bar close, we'll keep it on all day until you turn it off. And I usually use a 1, 2, 3 dip pump, because if this kind of alert goes off on the 15-minute chart, especially on the dip side, that's frequently you're catching the tail end of a 1, 2, 3 dip on the 5-minute chart, which anyone who's on my email list knows is that the core teaching of iCoinPro, and I like to use iCoinPro trading strategies with Altcoin Alert information. I think they work really well together. We'll talk about iCoinPro in a moment. Any questions on IOTA? Okay, I think I had some background noise. All right. Let's go back to share screen, and we will look at one more on Altcoin Alert before we head over to iCoinPro. So we've looked at an AA score. Let's look at social activity. And I'm going to match up social activity sort with trading activity sort. If I get fire on both or thumbs up or some combination of those two, that's something I want to look at some more. Band I was trading today. Had two good trades this morning, or one this morning, one this afternoon. So let's check those out. I'll get rid of this first. Okay, take a quick look at the 5-minute. Yeah, I caught a couple of these dips today. Really worked out nicely. At the moment, it does have pretty strong support on the 5-minute chart in this vicinity where the green zone is, right around $1.32. So that'd be a good place for a price alert. On the 15-minute chart, using the RTI, there's a big pump like this, it'll just flatten everything out on your screen. So if you want to evaluate something, from a day or two ago, you've got to move it over, and then you'll see something looks a little bit more normal. So crossing above the 50, looks like most of those have done well. It's a cross here that eventually caught, these crosses eventually caught this move up. A couple of the crosses down, caught some moves down with additional purchase probably. Let's say you get this move down. Yeah, that's on a short, probably still be in that trade. Okay. It's being kind of wonky. Reset chart view. All right. So we had the big move this morning, and all the charts are going to look like this because they rode with Bitcoin up, and then they either dropped like a rock or went sideways. So Band had some nice price action that I was able to take advantage of. Let's see what alerts were going off. They're just hard to see. Yeah. These are the two I caught. I caught this one here going up at 9:45, and again, and then this one here at around noon. Unfortunately, it's hard to see unless I only open up that indicator. And you can see that there's some decent confirmation. 3 green candles here on the cumulative data for my morning purchase, and then another 3 here for my noon purchase. So those were helpful for confirmation. And quick review, if you want to set an alert on the RTI, cross over here on the 50, or you can do the entering channel 80/20. I do both. So okay, I wish this showed up better on the screen, or I'd go over it in a little more detail. Any questions on Band before we look at maybe one more in Altcoin Alert? Okay, so we've looked at AA score, social activity, and the other one I like is long-term sentiment. Actually, this one might be good. 1 hour projected range. When the market's pretty volatile, this can be a good one. I haven't used it that much this year. Okay, not as good as I thought. 2.42%. I'm looking for a 3 or 4% or higher here in this middle value. Yeah, I don't have that, so I'm going to skip that one. Let's head over to this long-term sentiment. And similar to social activity and trading activity, I'm going to look for sentiment scores matched with the Elder Impulse Daily, which is technical term, and or technical indicator, and see what goes together. Hot. I've traded this before. I think it's on Binance or Bybit. Dent. DGB. Anchor. Kind of like Anchor. Let's look at Anchor. I want to look at a chart that's not going to be as funky as this one, but they may all look like that. Okay, let's look at the 5 real quick. Sitting on the SMA line in no man's land, so I don't like that. There's support in this vicinity here. 1975, that might be somewhere between 1975 and 1957 would be a good place for a price alert. On the 15-minute, using our RTI entries. The 50 cross has a fake out here on the short side. It's probably still be in that. The long ones did nicely. There's an entry here that did well. Another one here, did well, caught that move up. I suspect that's going to be a high percentage. Not as much as I thought, 4%, but that's a good day trade, especially if you're on leverage. And another cross here, similar entry. And that's our last cross up. We have a cross down. You'd still be in that trade. So on the 80-20, none of them go below the 20. And on the 80 side, where it pumps above the 80 and then dips, yeah, they don't dip very much. They just go barely below the 50 and then bounce back up. I'm not seeing any successful short trades on this at the moment. So maybe you just trade it on the long side. Set your go here, add an alert. And we're going to be crossing up on the 20. Did any of them cross on the 20? A score purchase, or no, this is long-term sentiment. So it looks like that. But we haven't had a dip below the 20 yet. So buying at the 50 might be the best way to go on this one. And that's an easy alert to set. So that's the first one that comes up. And there you go. Okay, any questions on Anchor before we head over to iCoinPro? Okay, iCoinPro, home of the 123 dip. And they do have a new trading portal, but they don't have audible alerts yet. So, without alerts, I don't want to sit here and watch my screen all day. I do work from home, but I'm usually different parts of the house when I'm not sitting here. So anyway, alerts are really important to me and how I trade. And so until these are enabled, I don't think this is very useful for me. So I'm not really going to talk about it until those are enabled. It's supposed to be phase 2 sometime next month. So for now, we will go back to the RSI SPY, which is one of my favorite tools. It uses the 1 hour RSI instead of the 15-minute time frame like we were looking at. And then the RSI is similar to the RTI. You guys might remember, if you've been with me for a while, I used to use the RSI a lot. So I can still use this information for coins to track. Unfortunately, all the ones that have values below 30 are Bitcoin pairs, which I don't like to trade. If I look for shorts, yeah, the market's mostly been pumping today. So this is what you're going to see. A lot of values over the 70 value, which is considered the overbought area using the RSI. So let's, do we want to short today? I don't know. Sometimes the RSI just doesn't have what I want. So in that situation, I go to the Buddy Coin Crawler, which will show me coins that are moving. Doesn't necessarily tell me a direction. And this is pretty good if you're spot trading. So let's use this for a spot trade. XVS, I think that's on Coinbase. UMA, Trust Wallet. XVS, let's look at that one. Okay, it is not on Coinbase, but it's on some others. It's on crypto.com and some others. So we'll look at the Binance chart, and we'll look at this as a spot trade. The volume's not that great. I should use the USDT pair. That's the problem. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there's some more volume there. So as a long, we have a dip below the 50 here, and I don't know if that gets below the 20 as well. We have a cross above the 50 here. And that's a real easy trade. You just go up to the red zone where the resistance is, pick up your 2% in less than 2 hours, and you go home. So good stuff there. We have another dip here and a cross. That would have been a fake out. Yeah. Mild confirmation on the cumulative delta. Get a small move and then down 10%. I don't know. I would have probably done a couple ladder buys, but maybe stopped out at the 10%. So that's not a good one. But if you ladder buy 2 or 3 times, this move probably gets you out. Your first position would be a loss, but your second, third, and fourth positions would be in profit. So a little risky though. Don't know if I like that. A better entrance would have been to wait for this. If a cross here above the 20, a better confirmation with the cumulative delta, and then that's quite a bit of a better entry here. And we're up, 4% and change in an hour. That's a great day trade. So I think that's how I would approach that one. Any questions on XVS? Okay. So that was a Buddy Coin Crawler. LTO. Where can I find that one? It's on KuCoin. I haven't used KuCoin in quite a while, though I was able to pass their KYC using the Palu ID. So if you have any questions about that, email me and I'll let you know how to become a digital citizen of the island nation of Palu, the crypto-friendly island of Palu. So let's look at the KuCoin chart. Okay, on the 5-minute. Yeah, at the top of the range at the moment. Probably rather get in here at around 5.5 cents. 15-minute chart. Yeah, LTO. I think this can be traded on leverage as well. If you wanted to short it, this would be getting this range would be pretty good. I'd probably wait for confirmation from the indicators, curl down here below the 80, and then confirmation with the cumulative delta. We don't have that yet, so set an alert on the RTI. Crossing down and use 80. And if you want to keep that one open for the rest of the day, you can choose once per bar close, otherwise go with only once. And that was a Buddy coin crawler. And you are good to go. I might, nah, I don't think I'm going to do that one. And then on the long side, you're trading spot. Yeah, these 20s or the 50s are excellent entries. Dip below 50 here, pump up here, you catch that move to the red zone. Almost 3%, good stuff. And another dip below the 50, it comes back up here. You catch that move, about the same. So 2 good trades there for LTO. Okay, any questions or comments about, some of the new things I've been using, the RTI, the cumulative delta, and the supply and demand visible range? I hope it's not too technical. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. If you're not interested in these type of alerts, I think, the visible range is real easy to trade, and trading support and resistance is one of the simpler ways to trade and very effective. So, all right. Well, let's see. I've got Marshall. You want to say hello? Don't recall. Not sure if you've been with me before. Well, maybe he's unable to talk at the moment. He's just listening. That's all right. If you're so I'll wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, I appreciate that. I'd rather see you live though. Check out the opportunities listed in the pinned comment. They help support the channel. If you are a Carbon member, that Zoom call will be starting in about 20-25 minutes. You'll need to exit this and use that link to access that Zoom call. And as far as I know, Kevin is joining me tonight. So we can talk about some of those developments. Marshall's saying he doesn't have a microphone, so we'll forgive him. I think when I first started attending Zoom calls, seems like a forever ago, back in 18 or 19, I didn't either. I would just kind of listen and lurk. I finally got one of these gadgets. Thanks for the kind words, Marshall. He says he's new here and he likes my reviews. So hope this is useful to him and anybody else who's watching. And we'll see you guys later in the week on Friday. Have a good week.